From Sound Zero Studios, we're live at the Secret Hideout. We've got the inside connection to the Valley of the Sun's hottest musicians and artists. We encourage you to like, share, and subscribe to everyone you see here tonight and take you now to the Secret Hideout.
Hello, we are here live on the Secret Hideout show with Jeff Ocheltree. How are you today?
Hello, sir. I'm doing great.
I am Ineyt. I am your host, and I am here with Angela Cabazon as well.
Hello,
she
hello.
is the host. We are here.
Hello, Jeff. Welcome. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
All right.
It's good to be here.
You are very welcome.
No, I just learned that Kabasan is also a mountain in
A
Tokyo.
mountain in Tokyo.
Oh,
I'm in no way
it's a
Asian.
new
though.
tidbit of
Yes.
information that
This
I
is
just
what
now
happens
learned
when
about
you
30
Google
seconds ago.
your name. You
Have
find
a
out all
weird
kinds of
Asian.
interesting things.
I like it.
Yes.
I like it.
Yeah.
Now you got to go home and Google your own name and see what comes up.
Ocheltree.
Ocheltree.
I might not want to know. I got one of those Ancestry.com things for Christmas. Was
Oh,
it
yeah?
Christmas? Father's Day, yeah. And so I still have yet to do it, so I've got to spit in this little tube and
Okay.
send it off. and
Oh,
have
is it kind
someone-
of like that My 29 thing or whatever, where
I'm not
it
familiar with
finds
that
out
one.
your
kinda
genetics and
yeah,
everything like
exactly,
that?
What you
Nice.
know, where you hail from, I guess,
Oh,
is
okay.
how it works. So
Okay.
yeah,
Even
still
though-
sitting on my desk. It's got a nice
even
little
though
layer
you
of dust
were,
collecting on it.
Born and raised here in Arizona?
Yep.
Yeah?
Yep.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Sunny Slope area, believe it or not.
Sunny Slope.
Mm-hmm.
That's way far away.
Yeah, it's a good half an hour drive from here, but
Yeah.
I was raised around that area. I lived in Scottsdale for a while. My mother switched jobs and relocated us to Scottsdale and spent some time out there, and then when I was about 16, moved back out to the west side, and I've pretty much been out there ever since. I'm a west side guy, so
West Side.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
All right, man. So, you are a professional musician.
well, if that's how you want to classify it, yeah.
Come on,
I make a living playing music, yeah, which is
you're being modest, aren't you?
I'm blessed. I am super blessed, man.
How long have you been a professional musician for?
Maybe a little over 10 years now. I did numerous dead-end jobs over the years until I got to the point where I could do what I do now. And I actually started out with a studio of my own, and that's what I really wanted to do. I was really into audio engineering and stuff like that, and I transformed a two-car garage into a recording studio, and I did that for about 3 years, and recording and producing projects for singer-songwriters and local bands and things like that, and ended up going through a nasty divorce and lost the location. I was fortunate enough to keep all the gear, but over time I kind of had to start selling some things just to make ends meet. So it was bittersweet, but not having a place to record kind of forced me to get out there and connect with some people and start playing live.
So
So,
the
I've been doing
change-
it ever since.
The change of the situation,
Yep.
the scenery and everything
Yep.
actually pushed you into this realm,
Correct.
pretty much.
Yep.
So you would say that's probably the best thing that happened to you, huh?
Yeah. I mean, looking back now, I'm quite happy with where I'm at now.
Right,
So
right.
I've got a beautiful family, beautiful girlfriend, and 3 beautiful children at home, and the fact that I get to go out and play music for a living is just an absolute dream come true for me. So yeah.
Has this always been a dream?
Absolutely, ever since I can remember. My main instrument is drums. I'm a drummer first and foremost.
Ah,
And
okay.
my father took notice of it when I was about 9 or 10.
Mm-hmm.
I was that kid who would sneak my mother's Tupperware, pots and pans into the bedroom. Yeah, and sneak those into my bedroom and send them up, specifically in a certain way on my bed, and instead of taking wooden spoons and things like that, I would take like pencils, you know.
Because they
like-
make the different sounds.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, two fresh number 2 pencils, you know, or whatever. So, and that's what I would do. And I was always tapping on things, always tapping on tabletops and stuff. And my dad took notice of that. My dad was the one that bought me my first drum kit.
It didn't drive him crazy at all. He just saw
It
he
drove
saw
my
the talent.
mother crazy because I lived with my mom the majority of the time. And yeah, so I didn't have him for very long.
She took all your pencils away.
She decided to she's probably listening to that or listening to this right now. And she's in Memphis. She'll probably wait until the morning and watch it, but I'm sorry, Mom. I had to throw her under the bus. But she does. I mean, I was, you know, like I said, 10 or 11, and she decided to you know, God bless her. She's a single woman, single parent, trying to raise 2 little hellions for kids, and so she ended up selling the drum kit and ended up getting a couple of bikes for my brother and I for Christmas that year. And
so did you know she was going to sell this drum set, or it just happened to disappear? And bikes were in the place?
Yeah, they just kind of disappeared. If I remember correctly, they just kind of disappeared one weekend. I think when my brother and I were at my dad's for the weekend, I came back and they were gone. And then we had 2 brand new red Huffy bicycles to show for it. But you know,
So
it sounds like you're
I'd rather-
salty at the moment. Like,
I would
I
have
have
rather
to-
had the drums.
I have
so.
to ask you this though. When you talk to your mom, do you ever say, you know, Mom, there was that time where I came home and my drums were
Yeah,
gone?
there's still some bitterness there.
Do you
Just
you still?
kidding.
I have a
No.
story similar to that with my mom because like she went and got rid of a tandem bicycle that I had and one day I came home and it was gone and I was like, where's the tandem? Oh, I sold it. What? So so every so often I have to tell her, I was just like, you know, it's just like that tandem incident.
Well, you know,
I'm
I
just
never
wondering if
really
you-
understood until I had a family of my own,
Mhm.
and I have, you know, a child of my own. Now I have 3, being, you know, with my lovely girl Brittany over there. I've got 3 beautiful kids instead of 1 now. So, but you never really understand why until you're in that situation and you're a parent, and you see the sacrifices that have to be made sometimes in order to just make Christmas a little brighter for your kids, you know. So, but
Oh, it
yeah,
was
there's
just like a
no
good-natured
mom. There's
ribbing.
no hard feelings. I
No-
love
no
you.
hard feelings, Mom.
So
I love you too, Mom. Taking my
Yeah.
gun away.
Yeah.
Probably the best thing you did when I was a kid. It wasn't real. The gun wasn't real. Okay.
Yeah. So you had a gun at 10. I had a drum set at 10.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Cool. Moving along.
Well, I have a question. Were you always musically inclined, or it developed through rigorous practice?
It takes practice, yes. I'm always practicing. I think it's something that every musician in town just never stops doing. I mean, but I think it was also a lot of it was a God-given talent that I was blessed with. You know, fortunately enough. So it came easy to me. My parents, neither one of them are musically inclined. They both love to sing. I mean, they met in the church choir. So they were more singers than they were musicians. The only one in my family that was musically inclined was one of my uncles. He was a guitar player, but not really many drummers. I think there was a cousin on my mom's side that was a drummer, and that was about it. But I don't think any of them really took it to the extent that I've taken it to now.
So when did you transition from loving the drums to, I'm going to sort of explore guitar and singing and that sort of thing?
Well, you can thank my grandparents for that. God rest their soul. I ended up. My mom remarried long time ago, and I ended up shifting out to Wisconsin, and I couldn't have been more than 18 think, at the time. So way over 20 years ago, 25 years ago. So I made such a stink about it and raised such hell about it that my parents got so frustrated with me, my mom and my stepdad, that they decided to ship me back home and live with my folks. But I couldn't live with my dad at the time because of a situation that he was in, and so I had to move in with my grandparents, which was my dad's mom and dad. They were very, very West Virginian, Southern Baptist, Bible-beaten, folk.
Oh.
And there was no way in hell they were going to allow me set up a drum set in their home. So it forced me, and I didn't really have a drum set at the time anyway, so back then I was still in high school, and a lot of my friends were playing acoustic guitar at the time. It was the cool thing to do, I guess, But right behind my grandparents' home was a little strip mall right off of Cave Creek and Greenway. And there was a place over there, a music store called Harmony House, and they had a selection of new and used gear. And one of the used pieces that I found was an old used 12-string Yamaha acoustic, and they only wanted like $150 for it. And I decided, well, I'm gonna learn. I'm gonna do it. I need an outlet.
Right.
If I can't do what I already know how to do, well, I need some sort of musical, outlet. So it kind of forced me to do guitar. My friends were doing it, and I knew that they would help me with chords and stuff, and that's how I did it. And I'm completely self-taught. I've never had lessons or taken any kind of schooling or lessons for anything. I've always learned by just diligent practice and just listening and watching, and that's
awesome.
That's how I've learned everything.
So was there like an emotional type of transfer between going from drums to the guitar, like a certain feeling that it gave you? Because drums, they'll give you a certain feeling, emotion, aggressiveness, or whatever that you get from it.
Oh, drums is a beautiful way to take out, your emotions of anger and things like that. There's been times where I put some holes through some of those drum heads. But
have you ever used your head?
Have I ever used my head?
At any point?
No.
Okay.
No. There was a time where the stick used my head and slipped out of my hand. Bounced back. Yeah, nailed me in the head pretty good. So.
Oh, good.
But no, there was. It was bittersweet because learning how to play guitar was exciting and frustrating at the same time. But I stuck with it, and after I got out of high school, I specifically remember locking myself in my room for hours upon end and playing along to all my favorite artists and bands and things like that, and just mimicking what they were doing and learning all those old songs that I loved.
So what's the first song you ever learned to play in its entirety?
Oh, that's a great question. Back then, when I was playing acoustic guitar, I was listening to a lot of, that was when like the Seattle grunge scene was in, so I was listening to a lot of Soundgarden, Alice in Chains, and Mother Love Bone, and Pearl Jam, things like that. I learned some Alice in Chains tune, but then also around that time, 311 came out and turned my world upside down. It was a huge 311 fan back in the day, and that's what I specifically remember playing a lot of in my room for 8 hours, just going through CD after CD, and that and Rush. I mean, Rush was a huge influencing band on me, so yeah, learned a lot of Rush. Yeah.
8 hours is a long time,
brother. I'm not
room.
No joke. I specifically remember one time, because I used to live where my grandparents used to live, and these are at this time, I went from my dad's mom and dad to my mom's mom and dad. So from one set of grandparents to the next, because I was such a little shit that none of them could stand me. So like, that's it, get out. So, which, you know what? It was a blessing in disguise because I was closer to my mother's parents than I was my father's. So they were much more loving, much more supportive and caring, and so where they lived, they owned about 3 houses in a row, right next to each other, right off of 19th Avenue in Hatcher, right next to the canal over there. And the house that they were living in at the time, I specifically remember the AC going out, and this is in the middle of the summertime.
Oh, it's hot.
Yeah. So they, in order to wait until things cooled down, until prices were more affordable for people to come out and fix it, they just kind of moved what they needed into the next house. There was no one living in it at the time, so they just moved a few things next door and turned on the AC over there. And I'm like, well, hell yeah, this is a perfect time for me to have my own personal like rehearsal space.
That is so cool.
So I could crank it up to 11.
Oh, nice.
And
Nice.
and so yeah, without being told to turn it down or anyone bothering me. And I sweat my ass off in that bedroom for a long time. But I was happier than a pig in
really
shit.
love music to sweat in a bedroom.
I just
You really do.
That's it's just you got to do it. If you have that much passion and love for something, it doesn't matter what's going on around you or what circumstance
totally relate,
you're in.
Man. I can totally relate.
Yeah, I was willing to bear it, so I did. I lost about 10 pounds during that summer, but my skin looked great.
Yeah. I specifically
Being in a
remember
sauna all year.
one point in Miami when my brother had to pull me out of my own room because he opened it. It was in the middle of the summer, Miami, no AC as well.
That's worse than here.
Oh, it's horrible.
Because you have the humidity factor.
Yes.
Yeah, he stepped in the room. He's like, "Get out, Nate. Get out." And I was like, "How does it sound?" Get out. So we're true artists, man.
Yeah, man. So
Absolutely.
So you mentioned getting into the grunge scene, okay, and then 311, but what other formative artists really sort of and Rush and what other formative artists really influenced you?
I specifically, I come from a very family that listened to totally polar opposite sides of musical genres.
Well, I can imagine like Southern Baptist is a lot of gospel.
Well, and that was my grandparents,
Yeah.
and they listened to a lot of like Southern gospel quartet stuff, like 4-part harmony and 5-part harmony stuff, which to this day my father still listens to, and he still tries to get me to like hear, some stuff that's like even newly released stuff. And then it's like, oh, you got to hear this song, and it's still it's the same. It's just like, Dad, is this the one genre that I just cannot. I just don't get into it. Yeah, so, but living with my mom listened to a lot of. My mom's the one that turned me on to Michael Jackson, Lionel Richie, the Commodores, a lot of soul, a lot of R&B, and even some things like she was. Not that I was ever a fan, but she listened to things like Barry Manilow and Neil Diamond and Michael Bolton and stuff. Which
your mom got soul.
Yeah,
Mom
Michael
has
Bolton
soul.
can sing.
Yeah. I know Michael Bolton.
My dad, but being on the polar opposite side of that, my dad listened to a lot of country and a lot of jazz. So I was influenced by like. Jazz guitar players. He loved guitar. He still does love guitar. So he hit me to groups like and artists like Earl Klugh, Larry Carlton, and Spyro Gyro, and bands like that. So, but he used to listen to a lot of country, and back then I turned my nose up at country. If you would have asked me 25 years ago if I liked country, I hated it. Absolutely hated it. I have too many memories of riding in the back seat with my dad and him cranking Merle Haggard and Willie Nelson and all those guys, and now I love it.
Yeah.
Now you get I guess you get to an age and a point where you learn to start respecting a lot of that stuff.
Well, and I think you as a musician have explored like all of the dynamics of music. You have to see that each genre of music sort of overlays and falls into each other, and it's sort of like everybody takes from other pieces and everything. That's why I like a lot of your music, is that you pull from all these different sort of genres, and you're not afraid to just experiment and to even flip it with a different sound, and I think that's really great.
Music is it's the universal language, that everyone can kind of relate to, or and all that stuff. So I don't know. Like I said, you can't limit yourself when you're a musician. You've got to branch out. You've got to experiment with other genres. If not play it, at least listen to it. Give it a shot.
So what's in your CD player right now, or MP3 player?
Big Wreck.
Big
a band
Wreck.
out of Canada called Big Wreck.
Big
And
Wreck.
I can thank my dear friend Chad Bailey for influencing me to them. And it's a shame that I haven't heard of them sooner. They've been around for quite some time. But I remember I was just at his house last Tuesday, I believe, and he was playing some Big Wreck. I'm like, who is this? I'm like, oh my God. And his voice was totally familiar to me. And his name is Ian Thornley, is the lead singer and guitarist for Big Wreck. And he had a project, just a band called Thornley. And I have that CD. It's more heavier rock than Big Wreck is, but I immediately remembered could hear the resemblance in the voice. I'm like, so I immediately looked them up, and sure enough, Ian Thornley was the lead singer. I'm like, I knew that voice, but the band, God, man, I just love everything about him. From it's like, I'm a huge Chris Cornell fan. Love Chris Cornell, and I really struggled with his death, for quite some time. And I was listening to nothing but Chris Cornell for like 2 months straight. But it's kind of scary because his voice is like Chris Cornell reincarnated. There's such a huge resemblance there.
Wow.
It's the rasp, the vibrato, everything about it. So. But yeah, so I've been really, really into Big Wreck lately. Another one of my favorites that you'll see is on my iPad or my iPhone or whatever you want to call it nowadays. Back then it was cassettes. Foy Vance, he's a singer-songwriter out of Ireland, and he's been a huge influence on me lately. So
Nice.
Yeah, so check out Foy Vance.
I'll definitely
You're
do
welcome.
that.
Vance.
You're welcome.
Thank you, brother. So I have a question. What and where was your first gig, and how was that experience?
Man, I don't remember. It was so long ago. The only thing that I can, it would have to have been. I used to have a band about 25 years ago called Details, and we were a Christian rock band. And I was kind of born and raised in the church, and so
As was I.
I wanted to form the Christian rock band, and we were kind of like, like a Christian version of 311 and Rage Against the Machine.
Right.
And, so we had a DJ and everything. My brother Scott was our DJ, and it was a lot of fun. But I think my first gig was like in like the Dream Center in Scottsdale Church or something like that. It was cool because they were kind of, it was an outreach type of thing where they were,
right.
The younger generation could come in and see some local bands and stuff. So I totally dug what they were doing at the time. I don't know if they're still doing it or not, but that had to have been one of my first
Did
gigs.
you say Dream Center?
Yeah.
They actually do theater productions too.
Oh,
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I was just at Dream City Church this morning, the one off Cave Creek, and they were saying their arts department or theater arts department was just somewhere, and they won like top 8 out of 10 or something like that. So yeah, they've got
That's dope.
from what I hear, they've got a killer
Yeah.
arts department. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Awesome, man. So question, are there any any moments that you felt completely embarrassed while playing at a gig?
You know?
And how did you get
you're gonna
through
ask
it?
that question.
There has to be some moments.
Those moments still happen today, whether it's a faulty cable or wire or piece of equipment or whatever. But I was asking Brittany, my sweetheart over there, about that question on the way here, and I was like, I can't think of anything. And I even asked her, like, do you specifically remember of me like failing miserably about something or like tripping over myself in any way? And she couldn't remember anything either. So I can't remember. I mean, I know I've had problems with, like I said, faulty gear or whatever, or pedals getting stuck or whatever, but nothing that has absolutely like made me completely embarrassed to the point where I've like just sat down my guitar and walked off stage or anything like that.
Like, I can't take this pressure, it's too much.
I don't think I could ever do that. I just kind of.
I mean, so what do you do? Yeah, that's what I mean. What do you do to play off those like the pedal board? How do you play it off?
Oh, it depends on the situation, I guess, the severity of the situation. You know, if it's something that's just like an obnoxious noise, or some screeching feedback or whatever, you obviously just gotta stop what you're doing. Like, if it's minor, I don't like stopping the song if I'm in mid-song or whatever, but sometimes you just have to. For the sake and peace of mind of your audience, and you just gotta stop and figure it out and
get back to it.
Tell a few jokes while you're on the mic and, try to figure it out and get trucking again. So,
right.
Yeah.
We've all heard those, we've all heard musicians say there's certain songs that they will not do again. Are there any songs that you just will not play again, and why?
Quite a few.
Like, is there one that just kind of like tops your list as if it ever got requested, you're just like, no, never.
Matter of fact, there was one last night at my gig.
Freebird, no.
Yeah. There's that one too. There's always that one person in the audience that yells out "Freebird."
Well, because it's a joke.
And then I yell out "security." And try to have them removed as soon as possible. No, but there are those songs, and I know that all of us musicians in the Valley can relate. I had one last night, and I was doing a gig at the West in Kierland, and a lady, she clearly had way too much to drink. She kind of stumbled up to me, and I was in the midst of starting a song, and I just love that in the way people think it's okay to, as soon as you start playing, they want to come up and strike a conversation with you. It's just like, come on. I'm like, wait after the song or whatever. But anyway, she had to ask me to play. Oh God, I think it was like "Sweet Caroline" or something like that. I just
Neil Diamond, your favorite?
No, he's not.
I know.
Favorite.
I was joking. I was being facetious. He's like, no, I know.
I will say this: Neil Diamond is a hell of a songwriter.
Oh yeah, he's very prolific.
But and I wouldn't mind doing a Neil Diamond song if I found one that actually. Matter of fact. If my friend Nikki and Joe Philippe are watching this right now, they're going to get a good laugh out of this because Nikki wants me to cover some Neil Diamond, and as well as what's she always asking? ABBA.
ABBA.
Little
the
Swedish
disco
music
band,
there.
Yeah, the disco band from Australia. I just don't.
I've never heard him before. It feels like there's a lot of excitement.
Before your time.
Before my time?
Yes.
You're trying to say I'm too young?
Yes.
You were too young. Yeah, almost before my time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So,
all right, true.
But no, there are songs like that, and I think it's because we've all heard so many bands, whether it's local bands or whether it's bands somewhere else, butcher these songs
over and over
again, whether it's bands or whether we're in a karaoke bar and we just heard someone just like sing it completely off key or whatever.
Oh yeah.
I think that's a good enough reason why I don't want to do these songs, because there's a band a half mile down the road that's already covering it, and
right.
Well, I can't do it, because when it boils down to it, I do stuff that speaks to me somehow, some way, or that influences me somehow, some way.
Yeah.
And songs like Margaritaville and Sweet Caroline didn't really inspire me much. So.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to do something that doesn't touch your soul in some type
well,
of
and this
way.
lady was just completely dumbfounded at the fact that I didn't know her request, that I didn't know, and she literally asked me, "Don't you know everything?
What?
Like, don't you know how to sing everything?" I'm like, no, I'm not. I don't. I'm not a human jukebox. So you
Right.
can't just, you
Wait,
know,
Push a
wait,
button.
let me
Okay, so
stick
yeah,
a quarter.
Yeah, let me
Where's
shove
your
a quarter up
slot?
my butt and
No, I wasn't
just
gonna go that
play
way. Swipe the credit
whatever
card.
whatever song you want. I'm like, that's not how it works. So
Don't ever get change from this
Yeah.
guy, all right?
Yeah.
Just don't do it.
Oh my
He gets-
God.
It's 'cause, never mind.
okay, we'll just put a quarter in my jar.
Okay,
In your
yeah,
jar?
that'd be good.
I like
But
that.
no, they're a dime a dozen. There's always that one person, but just take it with a grain of salt and just kind of, or a lot of times I just say yeah, sure, no problem, but they're in such a drunken state that they forgot they asked you to do a song anyways, and if you just keep doing your thing and avoid it,
They're like,
they
"Woo!"
they don't even notice. So.
How do you deal with? Okay, you're a musician, all right. Obviously, you sing great. I've heard you. Okay, now under the state of alcohol, certain people, of course, you develop beer goggles.
Yeah.
Then you develop the golden hearing. They're like, oh my God, he sounds so good. You being involved in a beautiful relationship, how do you handle women coming at you at your shows?
You want to answer this one, sweetie?
She's like, no, keep me out of this.
It's definitely a concern. I know more on her part than mine. I have no problem. I can kind of tell when women are being a little too flirty, and I just
Okay.
try to ignore it or.
Did you see he looked
just-
at me when he said that? Yeah.
Sorry.
What's up, man?
So, yeah. Anyway, I'll talk to Nate on this one.
You talk
Anyway.
to me about this,
Oh,
girl.
he's
What's up?
putting my back to you.
But no,
Listen,
there's always those ones, and
You just
yeah,
gotta
I
be.
think that's one of the reasons why she got me this ring here.
Ah, okay.
It's her way, it's her way of peeing on her territory. It's a deterrent, is what it is. But some women don't look at it that way. They look at it. They find it more attractive, and I don't know what. I
You could
stay
just
clear of
smile
it.
and nod and say
Exactly.
thank you so much.
Look,
Thank you.
I could come to your
appreciate it.
shows and I can play the role of I'm single. I can mingle.
Okay.
Okay.
Maybe I'll just you come out to my shows and you can be my deterrent.
I will.
And these crazy,
He'll be your
these crazy
wingman.
women
Ladies.
come up to me like, well, I'm spoken for, but my brother here,
Yeah,
he knows how to party.
I do.
We'll see how it works out. Anyways,
Yes, sir. Okay, what has been your most memorable gig to date?
There's been quite a few over the past several years. I used to play with a local band, the Ryan Sims Band. Ryan's a good friend of mine, and I had the pleasure of being a part of his band, and we did a lot of cool gigs. We played. It took us to Chicago doing some corporate stuff. It took us to the Bottle Rock Festival in California in Napa Valley, and it also got us to open up for Dierks Bentley one time,
Okay.
and which was really, really cool. That was a neat show, probably one of the more memorable. But yeah, that's the one that really comes to mind is opening up for big celebrities like Dierks Bentley, which is also an Arizona homeboy, and yeah, it was cool. I mean, it had the legit props and decoration and lighting and just the ultimate sound system that you're always longing to play through as a musician and stuff. So yeah, that was cool. But not many ring out doing the solo thing so far. You just I've been doing my share of just the resort gigs and the country
So there's
club
no
gigs
place
and
in the
stuff.
valley that just you're just like, oh my gosh, you should really go there?
There is. I would. There are places that I would love to play. Center Stage Bar at the Hyatt is one of those places that I would love to play. I have somewhat of a history there. I used to play there when it first started, and when there was someone else, name I won't mention, that was in charge of the music scene there.
Zip the lips.
But yeah, so and we had a falling out, and which kind of made me kind of start developing my solo gig, you know. So, but the reason I would love to play there is because I love what they're doing for the local scene here in the Valley. I don't think there is another resort in town or any place in town that is more focused on the musicians and the bands and the talent in this valley than Center Stage Bar. It's just it's a beautiful resort.
Absolutely.
They've got
It is.
an
It
amazing
really
sound
is.
system. They've got an amazing
A kick-ass
uh,
sound engineer.
yeah,
Right.
but then Justin
Justin
Anderson.
Anderson.
Justin
heading up
Anderson
the
is
sound
amazing.
over there is just killing it. There's not a bad seat, and he's got that sound system so dialed in.
That's right.
There's not a bad seat in the house, and yeah, it's great. So when Brittany and I have an opportunity to have a night off together, which is very rare, we always try to go to Center Stage because we know they always have live music every night, and that's our opportunity to go see our buddies, you know, because it's a, you know, once you kind of get in the scene, it's a pretty tight knit community, and everyone knows everyone. And once you start gigging out and stuff, and it's good. I think we all need to be supportive of one another, and when we have that time off, we need to be going around town and seeing our friends and supporting them. So
Well, that brings me to this perfect question here. How important is it to you as an artist to receive support from your local community, and how does this make you feel?
hella important. Oh, did I just say hella?
Oh, that's fine.
It's
He
a
just said
very
hella.
SoCal thing to
Hella
say.
awesome.
Yes.
It's so hella important.
Like a man.
Nice. It's the only way you're going to get ahead in your career is by the support of your community and your fans. I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for the support of my community and my fans. I've never understood the reason for, like, you know, you hear so many like bad stories of your favorite band member, lead singer or whatever, just being a total douche to someone. You know, it's just like, why would you do that?
Right.
They're buying your records. They're the ones that put you on the map. They're the ones that made your album #1 or whatever. Why would you ever think about disrespecting that person or being mean to that person? So I've got, you know, my little group that comes out to see me, you know, time and time again.
Well, hopefully
And
we'll get you
You know
more.
who you guys are out there. So God bless you. Thank you so much. And which recently, you know, it leads me to this as well. I recently started live streaming all of my gigs, as many of them as I
nice.
can, and the response has been overwhelming. It's cool. It's helping me get my music out there. I can't say it's my music. I just do covers right now. I don't really do anything original right now, but Lord knows I'd like to.
Yeah.
Do you
So-
write? I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
I do not.
Okay.
I write to a certain extent. I'm really, really good at coming up with chord progressions and the structure of a song and melody and things. But when it comes to the lyrical side of the writing is where I stumble. You know, I've got a lot of great friends out there that are brilliant songwriters and I think I just need to kind of come to terms with the fact that I need to start collaborating with some of these people.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
It'll happen eventually.
Cool.
So where do you live stream your shows?
Anywhere that has a Wi-Fi network, because Lord knows I'm
I
trying
mean,
to save all the money I can
is
get.
there a website or whatever that
right,
you
yeah, you could just, it's on my music page,
on
my
your
Facebook.
JeffOcheltree.com?
Yeah, and if you just go to JeffOcheltreemusic.com, the social media links are on the website.
Okay.
So to Instagram as well as Facebook. So, but they've just been. Sometimes, the majority of the time, they're being streamed off Facebook. But every once in a while, if Brittany's got control of the phone, she'll
She'll
throw a
do
little stream
she'll
up on
do
Instagram.
her magic.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
She's quite a magician. So yeah.
So let's talk about your songs, like what you like to play. How do you choose your songs?
Ineyt, what did you do?
I'm so
Nate broke
sorry.
it.
doing?
Nate
I'm
broke
trying to
it.
do these comments. Get these comments. I'm
We-
so
we,
sorry,
we had
guys.
a flow going. We had a flow going.
We had an amazing flow going. So sorry, guys.
Nate's messing with the messing with the
we
flow.
want to
please?
answer these comments, guys.
Oh, okay, wait. What are
Okay.
these comments?
What are they saying?
Are there comments?
Oh, there's only
Brian,
5 comments.
stud right there. What's up, Brian?
We can't see them. They're all
There you go. It's right here.
Matthew Bullis. Matthew Bullis. I want to give a shout out to Matthew Bullis. I just met Matthew a couple months ago, and he was referred to me by a dear friend here in the Valley. Oh gosh, I can't remember who it was now. Bill Ditcher. He's a fan of Bill Ditcher. If you haven't seen Bill Ditcher, the guy is crazy good on a guitar, and he plays one of those harp guitars. Just a magician on the guitar. He also plays with the Pete Cummings band. Matthew went out to one of his gigs. Now, Matthew, keep in mind, Matthew is blind. Okay, Matthew was at one of Bill's gigs, and I think he was subbing for me, and that's how Matthew heard of me. Matthew immediately liked my music page and started messaging me and things like that. I had no idea when he started messaging me that he was blind until he showed up. And we're neighbors. We live like less than a mile from each other, come to find out. But about a month ago, maybe 2 months ago, he showed up to one of my gigs at the Salty Sow. And I was in the middle of playing, and there was a gentleman I noticed like walking him in, and he sat down at the booth right beside where I was playing. And as soon as I went on break, he immediately spoke up, and I heard my name, and he's like, "I'm Matthew," and my jaw hit the floor, man. My jaw hit the floor. That was probably that was a pretty flooring moment for me. The fact that a blind man would take the time to take an Uber, to one of my gigs.
That's
and
awesome.
and not knowing who I am and meet me, and make that connection. Super, super nice man, and has a huge passion for music as well. He plays the auto harp, he plays several different instruments. Next time he came down, he brought one of his harps. He asked if he could sit in with me. I said, sure. Came down the next time I played there, brought his harps with him. And I let him sit in. The dude can blow, man. He's good. He's good.
Yeah.
So he played a couple tunes with me, and every time I'm doing a live stream, he's always playing along with what I'm doing.
What's his
So
name?
His name is Matthew Bullis. He's watching
Matthew
right now.
Bullis.
So
What's
thank
up,
you,
man?
Matthew. Yeah, he's an amazing human being. So, as well as Chad Bailey. Hi, Chad. Ryan Hunt. Hey, brother. So, and a lot of these are dear friends of mine that I've met over the years and have played with, and yeah. So, it's a great community of talented musicians out there and bands, and it's just such an honor, knowing them and playing in a lot of the same places that they do, and yeah. So, it's good.
My
It's good.
question. I have a question now for
Okay.
for performance.
You've had several so far.
Yes. Yes.
How many more questions you got?
I have about 13 more.
I might have 13 more answers.
I'm just
okay.
kidding. Okay, so the question concerning performance is: do you ever get nervous? And is
You
there
always
anything you
get
do
Yeah.
to calm that down?
You know, when I play a new place, which is, matter of fact, it was the first time I met you at Meridian.
Okay.
I always get nervous. And then once you just dive into it,
Yeah.
take that deep breath and you just dive right into it and start doing your
It's like
thing.
skydiving. They
Yeah,
say
and
once
just
you fall out
jump.
that plane.
It's
Just-
always after the
it's
first
jump.
song,
Right.
right? After you get the first
Exactly.
song under your belt,
Exactly.
you're just like, okay,
All right, I can do
can
this.
do this.
Yeah, okay, I got
Yeah.
this. Yeah, it's like riding a bike, But yeah, so yeah, I still get nervous. You know, I was nervous before I walked into this interview. So still, I'm kind of nervous. So.
you want some more wine?
Yeah, actually, I would. Is there
Cool,
any
we
more?
got some more wine.
Huh?
I'm here drinking on whiskey.
Trade your glasses.
It has me changing up my accents.
Thank you, darling.
Such a wonderful girlfriend.
Such a support.
She just
She
gave
is
you her
incredible.
own wine.
She did.
There
she's
you go.
given me more than that.
Yes.
She's given me 2 more beautiful kids.
That's awesome.
Which I mean are not mine, but you know I've inherited them as mine. But she's extremely gracious. She's been my biggest fan and my main, support through the past couple years. So
Do your kids love listening to you play?
they love it.
Do they want to do it with you?
Oh, all the time.
Yeah.
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 We just recently got a baby grand piano in the living room. That's
No
always been.
way,
Nice.
bro.
It's been a lifelong dream ever since music took over my life.
Yeah.
I've always had that vision of a black baby grand piano.
I was about
in
to
the
ask
living
what
room
color
and
you had.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Dope, man.
So, so far, Brendan, our oldest, he's the one that was the least likely to take a liking to it. That I never thought he would be the one to take a liking to it, but he's
Mhm.
the one that's been tinkering on it the most.
Nice.
And he's really good just for being, going on, he'll be 8 in October, but just for, oh yeah, it's Maddie that will be a year older in October. Sorry, I got the birthdays mixed up. Anyways, but he's been tinkering around on it, and he's finding those notes and which notes work together as a chord and things like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, but, yeah.
Sounds like he has that natural ability that you have with.
It'd be really cool, but yeah, they love every time I do live streaming. If if we have the kids that weekend and Brittany can't come out to a show or whatever, they always like to lay in bed before bedtime and watch Daddy do his thing.
Dope, man.
Oh, hard.
Yeah.
Oh, that's all the hearts?
After every song, it's like an explosion, of fireworks of hearts, emojis blowing up off the screen. So,
So like, oh look, they love
Yeah,
you.
it's
That's
great.
awesome, man.
It's great. That's all the support I need right there. So
Okay. So besides music, do you have any hobbies that you enjoy doing?
I do. I love to cook, believe it or not. I love
What?
to cook.
I
I
love to
love photography.
I love eating.
Yeah.
I love to eat.
Yeah. You like to eat?
Yeah, I
Oh,
love
I
to
love to cook. I love to eat too. That explains
Awesome.
my gut
Word. I'm
going
working on
on
mine.
her. Going on her. Yeah. So, but yeah, I love photography. Brittany and I have our little adventures. We typically have Mondays off together, so we always try to get out of town,
Cool.
go up north, do some hiking or whatever. And we went up to Yellowstone National Park recently for my birthday,
Nice.
and I came home with probably about 1,000 pictures on my camera. So, but I love, I love everything about photography. It's just the artistic side of me.
Yeah.
I was never really the kid growing up that was involved in sports and things like that. I was the art guy.
Yeah.
I started out drawing before I got into music.
Really?
Yeah. I was more of a, I was like I said, I was a drummer.
Mm-hmm.
But art was really the thing that consumed my life up until I was about 16.
Do you still draw now?
No, I haven't drawn
At
a
all?
single picture since I was 16.
Oh my god.
That's when I bought that first guitar.
Right.
And
You never look back.
That just music
CDs
has
still
taken
need
over.
covers. They
Yeah,
still
they
need
do.
covers.
This is
And
true.
Photography makes great
Oh,
covers
well,
too.
that too.
I know how to draw great stick figures.
Oh man, I'm open to suggestions for CD covers if I ever get that far. So
If you ever get that far.
when I get that far.
Okay.
It's a
Okay.
matter of when.
There's no if.
Is
there's
that
only
the
when.
ultimate-
It's only when.
That's
yeah.
the ultimate goal, dream to get there.
Yeah, one of the things that's has been kind of frustrating about what I do is that you've got so many great singer-songwriters in this valley. Jay Allen, Brian Chartrand.
That's crazy. I was just in the studio with Jay Allen the other day.
Jay's crazy.
He's awesome,
Jay's
man.
a great guy. Ryan Sims is another one. Chad Gregory. These are all just amazing songwriters, and any of them I would love an opportunity to collaborate with. Wink, wink.
Jay, if you're listening.
Yeah, Jay, Brian. Chad, if you're listening, hit me up. Anyways, but But all the greatest songwriters and stuff collaborate with someone, and that's what I'm noticing I have to do. But it's been kind of frustrating because everyone is having these CD release parties and things like that, and it's time for Jeff to do some original music and have a CD release party. So
Okay.
you have to do a CD. What kind of music do you feel like would encompass the CD? Like, what is your style?
I definitely. That's a tough one. It would probably be a cross between Chris Cornell's solo stuff, Foy Vance meets Sting, and like Bryan Adams Seal kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Around there in those genres. I know there's like 5 of them there, but yeah, that's kind of my vibe.
So, like, sort of gritty, earthy,
Yeah,
soul,
yeah,
like a little bit of everything.
yeah. Just there's something about the stripped down rawness of the acoustic side of things. I've always wanted to try doing something like that with just acoustic instruments. No electric guitars, and just with like maybe an acoustic and a banjo and a mandolin and maybe like an accordion and maybe some brushwork on the snare or something
Right.
like that.
Oh,
kind of
okay.
a bluegrassy kind of vibe.
Yeah.
But then I also like the complexity and production of Mutt Lange and his stuff that he does with Bryan Adams,
Mhm.
as well as the production stuff side of Peter Gabriel and
Mhm.
Seal and
Right.
Sting. They're all my heroes and stuff. So yeah, there would definitely be some qualities in all of those different artists that I would kind of rob from them.
Mhm.
Yeah, it feels like you're in that mode
Yeah,
for your own
it's
your own
definitely
album.
changed over the years. So
Okay, awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
Do we have any comments like in there,
Do
or
we?
are we still going? Chad.
Hi, Jeff.
Chad.
What is? Okay, Chad Wilson Bailey says, "Hi, Jeff. What is your most consistently moving cover you perform at the moment, and what is your dream acoustic?"
oh, the acoustic question I've got right off the bat. That's a McPherson. Anything by McPherson. They're a company out of Nashville, Tennessee, and
Thank you. That's so much better.
they yeah, that's great.
We
They
can
started
see the
out
comments
making bows for archers.
Oh.
And the owner of the company decided to make a guitar one day, and McPherson was born. There's only
Nice.
one company here in town that carries McPherson guitars. That's Cave Creek Guitars in Cave Creek, Arizona. To answer his second question, or his first question rather, I always seem to do Free Fallin'. First set, usually first or second song right off the bat. I
Yeah.
always seem to do that one. It's kind of like the warm up tune.
Yeah.
But
Song
yeah,
makes me so happy.
and it's a good way to make sure that it's in a lower register for me, so it kind of gets the pipes a little bit warmed up, and I'm using almost every aspect of my pedal board on that, the loopers and the different effects and presets that I'm using off that. So it just kind of makes me aware of like everything is working properly.
Right.
Okay, good. Everything's in sync, and the looper's working great. All my levels are good. Cool. Now we can proceed. So
Dope, man.
I always seem to start off with Free Fallin'. Yeah.
And so, how do you choose the songs in your set? Is it based on your is it based on where you're playing, or do you gauge your audience? Like,
Both.
Okay.
To answer your question.
so you don't
both.
pre-make your sets?
No.
No.
Unless it's for a
An event or
an
something?
event, yeah, a corporate event, opening up for someone or whatever, because you want it to move quickly. You don't want a lot of
Mm-hmm.
dead space between your songs and things like that. But
So you just go one after the other after the other.
and when I'm doing just regular gigs, I mean, I try to get through them as quickly as I can. I don't like a lot of dead space between
Mhm.
songs, but you definitely have to kind of gauge the atmosphere and gauge what the audience is doing and things like that. So you kind of know whether you need to be upbeat or just kind of keep it chill or whatever. And every venue is different, you know.
Yeah, you mentioned like, whereas playing professional, like as an opening artist, do you do anything differently than you playing solo? Like if you're playing with an artist?
With an artist, yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Do you powwow beforehand? You're
Oh,
just
of
like,
course.
oh, hey, Dirk Bentley, what's going on? Let's see what we're going to do
we don't
tonight.
necessarily powwow with like the headlining act or whatever. Yeah. I mean, they're off in their own little world, and we don't want to bother them, and that's fine. But yeah, when I was playing with the Ryan Sims band, you know, we always had an idea beforehand what we were going to do and a set list and things like that. We'd find a dark corner and light some incense and some candles and stuff.
And make it magical and be one with yourself.
Yeah, we'd all share chapstick. And put on some chapstick and pass it around.
So funny you said chapstick, because it's like, I need chapstick right. I'm over here.
Dude, I do too, man. I'm fresh out.
Anybody got some chapstick?
I usually have some Burt's Bees with me.
Right. I usually have some Carmex all glossy and shit. My lip gloss is popping.
I need to get some of that stuff that Britt's wearing now. What's it called? Lip Sense. Lip Sense.
Oh, with a little bit of.
Yeah, that stuff. It doesn't come off. She, as pretty as her lips look right now.
What?
She could kiss me, and none of it would rub off. She's been drinking out of this wine glass, no lipstick on this glass. It's crazy. I don't know what kind
you've
of
heard it here first.
I don't know what kind
Lip
of
Sense works.
Yeah, a big shout out to Lip Sense. I don't know what kind of alien technology
shout
they're
out
using,
Lip Sense,
but it's working. And I know guys all over the world are appreciating this stuff.
That is yes, that's so true.
Brent, Brent's my best friend.
Do you shower before or after?
Brent is one of my dearest friends. I've known Brent since, my freshman year in high school. Do you shower before or after your performance?
Does there have to be a before or after? Can there be both? Can it be both?
Both, yeah. Especially the Westin. I do.
Is it outside?
Yeah, it's out by the pool.
Oh.
So I shower. I shower before I leave the house, and you got to make sure my head's all nice and shaved and stuff. And
do you buff your head?
I do not buff my head. No.
Make it all nice and shiny.
Buffing.
No, you sure?
No, I just bick it, you know. And then I go out to the Westin and then I sweat my butt off, and then I come home and I shower
right
again,
after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So okay, after your shows, right? What do you do when you get home to relax?
Oh my God! I immediately kick off my well. First and foremost, I kiss my girl.
Awesome.
Kiss my girl. I kick off my shoes, get into my dry down in my tidy whities and
that was a little bit too much information.
Okay.
Little tidy whities, really?
No, I'm not wearing tidy whities.
Okay.
I prefer boxer briefs. Of course,
yes. Yes, boxer briefs, yes.
Calvin Klein all the way. That's all I use.
Boxer briefs,
no,
bro.
girls like boxer briefs. I'm just telling you that right now. Girls like boxer briefs. Do not wear tidy whities.
I got to give a shout out to Calvin Klein, too, because I won't wear anything else. Those are the only... That's the only brand of boxer briefs that have not failed me.
Really?
Well, good.
Yeah, they remain tight against my juicy
keep everything in place.
I might be
everything
changing
in place.
brands. Calvin Klein.
Calvin Klein, man.
You're
You're gonna pay a little bit
my
more.
chocolate skin comes.
You're gonna pay a little bit more, but it's worth the extra coin. But no, and then
what kind of socks do you wear? No,
after that, I like to eat. I try to. If I'm hungry, I'll eat something. If not, I'll just grab a glass of wine and chill. I'll get in bed with my girl and we'll watch Game of Thrones and
yes.
No
spoilers. I'm behind a couple of episodes.
Expedition Unknown is what we like to watch too.
Good.
Yeah, so we're geeks when it comes to the History Channel and all those other stuff. I don't watch a whole lot of TV, but when I do, it's with her.
I like American Pickers. Do you like that show?
That's a cool show too. Yeah,
American Pickers is awesome.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of shows, let me input my show. I watch Agents Marvels of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I haven't watched that one
Everybody
yet.
got quiet.
Marvel
I don't
Agents
care.
of
I
S.H.I.E.L.D.
like superpower stuff.
Shush. We were talking about this earlier. I'm on season 4. He's on season 2. I
I'm
told
on
him he
season
needs
4
to.
now.
You're on season 4
Yes,
now? Good.
I've binge watched that much. I'm on
Good.
season 4.
Good.
man.
So
Wow.
now we can talk about it now.
Okay, so we're gonna wrap up pretty soon.
Oh, you want to
Have
answer
about
some more comments?
well,
They held up the little sign earlier and said more comments.
more comments.
Yes.
What do we
So
got? Is there a
no,
way we can
let's
kinda
hear
scroll
him
through them,
sing.
or-
Yeah. Is it,
Of course we're going to hear him
No, I don't
sing.
want to. I don't want to leave the fans
okay, that's
hanging.
it right now.
No, you got to other way. Other way. No, down. Go down. Down. No.
Listen.
Okay, give me that. Give me that. This is why.
Okay. Meanwhile, she does that. I have a question for you.
Okay.
One place you have yet to visit but would love to go. This is doesn't have to deal with music.
Yet to visit, but would love to go.
Mm-hmm.
Good question. I've always wanted to go to Ireland.
Ireland.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Just the
'Cause it's
lush
amazing.
green rolling hills. They like to drink out there. and,
Okay.
it just seems like a cool place to visit, man. I love getting out of the city. And that's why on Mondays, Britt and I always try to
It's a lot of
get out of
countryside
Dodge.
there
Yeah,
in
very
Ireland.
much. I love
A lot
that.
of castles, a lot of green.
I love that.
Yeah, me too.
I love that. As I've gotten older, I'm finding more and more reasons to get out of the city and get into cooler climate and just be around the countryside. So if I had $1 million right now,
I was gonna ask you that, man.
mhm,
I'm reading my brain.
I'm gonna answer your question. I would, we would find a chunk of land out in the middle of nowhere, and which would be kind of hard to do, especially when you've got 3 little ones. You've got a
Yeah.
5, 6, and 7-year-old. But yeah, I've always dreamed of having a big, huge, chunk of land with a nice big cabin and
I can
a
really
recording
s-
studio attached to it.
I can really see that happening
Yeah.
for you, bro.
Yeah. Oh, and a little lake within walking distance where I can go to and fish.
Yeah.
And
Right.
Yeah.
I can absolutely
Bring home
see
some
that
fresh
happening.
fresh fish for dinner. So yeah.
Okay.
yeah, that's what.
Next few dates. You know what? I don't even have my phone on me. I'm not sure. Brittany's got it. Let's take a look here.
Brittany's got it down.
Not much. The summertime has been slim pickings, which I'm sure every musician in the valley can relate to. Wednesday is I have a steady Wednesday gig at Desert Mountain, which is a members only gig, unfortunately. So
So don't go to
so
Desert
after
Mountain.
don't go to
Member
that
to
one.
go?
Yeah,
If you're a
otherwise they'll
member,
turn you away. If you
Go
know,
to Desert Mountain on
yeah,
Wednesday.
If you know someone who's got property up there, whatever, hit them up.
Yes.
Otherwise, save your gas. Let's see. Friday at the Westin. Yeah, I'll be at the Westin poolside from 6:30 to 9:30.
That's this Friday?
That's this Friday and every
Okay.
Friday until September 1st. Now, it was open to the general public for free. And then they kind of put a hold on it because of the holidays and things like that. And now they just reopened it again, but now they're charging. I believe it's like $20, which is still a great deal.
Mm-hmm.
$20 for a family of 4 to get in.
Mm-hmm.
And for I think it's like $10 for additional adults and $5 for additional children. So I'll be there on Friday, and you can get all this stuff. You can get my entire calendar on my website, JeffOcheltreeMusic.com.
Music.com.
And then Saturday, I'm at Royal Palms. I love playing at Royal Palms.
Okay.
So I'll be at the Royal Palms Resort and Spa in the Mix-Up Bar on
And where's
Saturday
that?
from 6 to 9.
The Royal Palms.
Oh, it's off of Camelback and I want to say like 63rd Street, somewhere around
Camelback
there.
and 63rd.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah. But that's a great place to play. It's very, very kitschy and vibey and just, just fits my style.
Okay,
I guess.
cool.
But,
Okay, speaking of your style, I think we're gonna go into you singing a little bit for us.
Okay.
Okay.
We're gonna have you set up for a little bit. We're gonna take a little break
Go to
from
commercial?
talking. Yes, it's a commercial.
Well,
Yes.
I have,
Josh,
I have,
you can be
I
my
have
roadie.
one more question that I think would help out people watching.
As long, Josh, you can be my roadie as long as you can do Brittany's hair. I don't have
Oh,
hair.
He's reading the comment.
My buddy Josh, he just moved back to Oregon. He's an amazing hairstylist,
Oh,
And,
okay.
so that would have to be
Hey,
the
Josh, you
terms,
do dreads?
Josh. You could be my roadie. You would also have to style Brittany's hair. for
Josh,
her.
do you do dreads?
I wouldn't be surprised if he does. He's speaking of artists, man. That's an art all its own. So
Right.
yeah, he says done. Yeah.
Oh, thank
Yeah.
you, Josh.
An
Josh
amazing
is-
guitar player too, man.
Yes.
The name of his band, which I think he just recently parted from. I think he was getting ready to do something all his own. Was it I am one or we are? I can't remember what the name of his band was. They're actually really, really good.
Okay.
But I've heard some of his pre-production stuff or his solo stuff and really good stuff. So
Okay.
I miss that cat. I wish he still lived here. He was
I thought he lived
solid
there.
guy. No,
Okay, cool.
He used to. Lived here for a short while. I think maybe about
Josh,
a year.
come back.
And then he moved back to Oregon. So
Oregon.
Gone.
Oregon. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, my question that I had to ask before we had to break and get you ready to perform and, and like let us enjoy your music. What 3 solid pieces of advice can you give to any upcoming artists out there that's looking to brand themselves as you have done?
Practice.
That's all 3 of them.
All
It's
all
just
3.
practice.
No, there's a lot of different things that kind of factor into that question, but practice is first and foremost, man. I still to this day, and Brittany can testify to this. I
How
still
many hours?
pick up my guitar and we'll sit
Mhm.
there on my downtime and pluck away at either learning new stuff or just kind of working on new things, So practice with a metronome too.
Okay.
That's a great way to learn pocket and time and feel. And even if you're doing scales and modes and stuff like that, practice along with a metronome. I don't care whether you're a drummer or guitar player, a pianist or whatever. Practice along with a metronome.
Right.
What else? Oh, take pride in your gear.
Mm-hmm.
Don't settle for the cheap stuff. Putting in a little extra money in your gear will go a long way, and you will definitely notice a difference between the cheap stuff
The quality.
and the
right.
quality stuff. Get out, see the local scene.
Mm-hmm.
Get out and meet new people. Meet the Brian Chartrands. Meet the Jay Allens. Meet, the bands around the valley. Which when it comes to like the local bands, I'm not really hip to a lot of the local bands, like the original stuff, the
Mhm.
original side of local bands. I've been out of that loop for a long time, so forgive me for that. But get out and meet them and introduce yourself and get familiar with what they do and how they do it. Like I said, I'm completely self-taught, and I've learned everything that I know how to do to this day by listening, doing it, and watching, listening, and just practicing.
Awesome.
So get out there and take notes, So,
Mhm.
yeah.
Okay. 3 things. It's to practice.
Practice, take some pride in your gear,
Pride in
Mhm.
gear.
and
And
Get out there
and
and
get
meet
out
people.
there and
Meet
make
people.
connections. Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely,
That's one of the
We
most
thank you
important
you
things.
so much, man.
absolutely.
Oh, we
Thank
got a
you.
shout out from Josh that says it's "Beauty for Ashes" is the new record.
Oh yeah,
So
check it out. Be on the lookout for Beauty for Ashes, man. He's good. He's really good. So yeah.
okay.
It's good to have you, man.
All right, we're going to commercial.
show.
This commercial is
Commercial.
brought to you
Commercial.
by Calvin Klein and Lip Sense.
Lip Sense.
Lip
Calvin
Sense.
Klein and Lip Sense
And whiskey.
Yeah, there we go. And wine.
and wine.
There you go. Can't have enough wine.
Hello, and we are back here on the Secret Hideout Show.
Nate over here.
It's Angela.
Yeah.
And we had Jeff Ocheltree on the show, and we still do.
Yes.
And guess what we are about to do?
He's going to sing one of my favorite songs to start off this little mini set, Into the Mystic. And I'm really excited about it because, yes, it's one of my favorite songs.
I'm excited too.
And he performs it just gut-wrenching and beautifully, and it'll just blow your mind.
It will tingle your soul.
Yes, it will.
Tune in.
So.
And here is Jeff Ocheltree.
We were all born before the wind, and also younger than the sun. Here the morning boat was one as we sailed into the mystic. Hark now, hear the sailors cry. Smell the sea and feel the sky. And let your soul and spirit fly as we sail into the mist. And when that foghorn blows, we'll be coming home. And when that foghorn blows, I wanna hear it. I don't have to fear it. And I just wanna rock your sweet gypsy soul, just like a way back in the days of old. And magnificently we will flow as we sail into the mystic. Ooh, come on, girl. Ooh. Oh, yeah. When that foghorn blows, ooh, I will be coming home. Oh, and when that foghorn blows, whoa, I wanna hear it, and I don't have to fear it. I just wanna rock your sweet gypsy soul, like a way back in the days of old. And together we will flow, yes, into the mystic. And together we will flow as we sail into the mystic. As we sail into the mystic, as we sail into the mystic, as we sail into the mystic. Thank you so much. All right, this was for you, buddy.
I didn't know how you guys wanted to do this. If you guys just wanted to like do a song and then answer some questions, or just want to roll with it, or all right. Don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright now. Saying don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Rise up this morning, smile with the rising sun. 3 little birds perched by my doorstep, singing sweet songs, my melodies pure and true. Singing, this is my message to you. Saying don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Saying don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Rise up this morning, smile with the rising sun. 3 little birds perched by my doorstep, singing sweet songs, my melodies pure and true. Singing, this is my message to you. Yeah. Saying don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Saying don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. It's gonna be alright. Gonna be alright. Ooh. It's Bob Marley. Come on. Yeah, boy. All right, what should we do from here, huh? Should we just keep going?
since I was talking about Foy Vance earlier, I think I should hip you guys to some Foy Vance. Well, tomorrow may not be like any other day. It's so hard to know now what with the collecting day. See, lately they've been swinging high the wrecking ball, chipping down on the foundations I spent so long upon, making sure they would be strong. 'Cause you and I, we are hard as stone. Ooh. You and I, we are hard as stone. And I may empty out my pockets in their hat one day, and then I turn my back and I will simply walk away. And they may think it over and reach out their hands, but I would long since disappeared by then, like water in the sand. You see, gold is all that they have found. 'Cause you and I, we are hard as stone. Ooh, you and I, we are hard as stone. And they're like pawns on a tide, and I'm back here castling, trying to find my feet and find my joie de vivre again. But I can't make it on my own, I may need something strong. But I can build a new hoverboard. Yeah, you and I, we are hard as stone. Ooh, you and I, we are hard as stone. 'Cause you and I, you and I, whoa, you and I, yeah. Oh, you and I. So that's Foy Vance. Yeah, Foy Vance from Ireland. Check him out. I do. I don't do any of his stuff, but yeah, he's amazing. A fellow Irish bloke, right? Yeah. Oh, Sydney Sprout. Yeah.
Ready for
Great.
you when you are. Thank you, guys.
Thank you all
And we are
27
back.
viewers. That's awesome.
We
Thank you,
are
Jeff,
back.
so much for
Welcome.
playing for us.
Absolutely.
Next place you'll be playing where we can actually come visit you. Please repeat.
Yeah,
For-
that will be the Westin.
The Westin.
The Westin Kierland, poolside. If you feel like getting wet and hanging out by the pool, there is an admission for it. $20 for a family of 4, and I think $10 for additional adults, $5 for additional kids.
And then after that is
Saturday, the following night is Royal Palms.
Royal Palms, yeah.
6 to 9 p.m. All the information is on my website, jeffocheltreemusic.com.
And I actually did just post a link, and it's under events. So be sure to check out his schedule. Please support our local artists, especially Jeff. He's a hell of a guy. He's wonderful, and I can't say enough nice things about him. He's just an all-around amazing musician.
Yes,
guys.
Jeff.
And
Thanks for having me.
And a great.
This was a lot of
Thank
fun.
you so much for coming and
Oh,
sharing a little piece of
absolutely.
yourself with us.
Thanks for having me. You guys did great. I love what you're doing here. Please continue to do what you're doing. The Valley really needs this. So
Absolutely.
yeah, I'm looking
Absolutely,
forward
man.
to seeing a lot of my fellow brothers and sisters from the Valley on the show. So
Oh, yeah.
keep it up.
We
Speaking
will.
of which, our next show is in 2 weeks,
27th.
and
We'll be having Sydney Sprague.
Sydney Sprague will be
She's
here, and we'll be interviewing her. I believe she's gonna be singing a little for us too.
She will be.
So make sure to keep
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned to the Secret Hideout show, and like our page and
Share.
subscribe, and it's just helpful for all the local artists out there, and
Jeff's page.
Jeff's
Make sure you
page.
like his page. Is Jeff Ocheltree Music, correct? On Facebook?
and
Probably
Instagram.
the easiest
Thank
thing to
you.
do is just to go
Thank
to the website. The links for both Instagram and Facebook are on my website.
Jeff Ocheltree.
They're on the right-hand corner.
Yeah, like
of
the
the
upper
top of-
right-hand corner,
the upper
somewhere
right-hand
around there,
corner.
yeah.
See? I
Okay.
know.
You know.
I know.
Make sure
Cyber
you guys
stalker.
go and support Jeff. He didn't come out here for nothing to let your ears be filled with beautiful music. Okay? Support him. We thank you for supporting us at the Secret Hideout Show, and we'll
Thank
see
you
you
so
in
much for joining us.
2 weeks.
Thanks,
2
guys.
weeks.
All right.
All right.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
bro.
Good night.
From Sound Zero Studios, we're live at the Secret Hideout. We've got the inside connection to the Valley of the Sun's hottest musicians and artists. We encourage you to like, share, and subscribe to everyone you see here tonight, and take you now to the Secret Hideout.